A few years back, I spent about $30 on a box of muffins. $30, that was it. That box turned into about $500,000 worth of commercial work. Real jobs, repeat jobs, work that kept coming in. Thing is, the muffins wasn't the trick in there. Anyone can buy a box of muffins. It's what happened before and after the muffins that almost no electrician does. In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to show you why the way you market now is keeping you broke. The maths on why a good relationship beats any ad budget, and the one shift that makes it doable even when you're flat out. And especially when you're flat out. Most marketing advice is built for residential. Run some ads, boost a post, get some leads this week. For commercial work, that advice wastes your money. Think about who actually gives you work. Builders, facility managers, strata managers, project managers. Nobody managing 40 commercial sites clicking on a Google ad to find an electrician. They give work to people that they know and trust. That's the whole game. You're in the relationship game, not the lead game. I've run trade businesses doing hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue, and I've coached more than 100 clients through this shift. Because I want you to do this, grab the workbook and actually complete this and work along with this. We'll build a bulletproof pipeline in there, and it'll make sure that you never get that cycle again, that feast and famine. Fill it in as we go. There's a lot to learn. Every commercial relationship works like a tree. It takes years to grow, pays you in decades with shade. You know the saying, best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, the second best time is today. The problem is when contractors choose to plant, they wait for a quiet patch. Picture two electricians. One markets when the phone stops. He's desperate and every builder can smell it. The other drops in on his best clients when he's busy. No ask, just staying in touch. 2 years later, guess whose name comes up when the big facilities management contract changes hands? Here's the shift that the whole series hangs on. Relationship marketing is the marketing you do when you are busy, because it's what keeps you busy. If you only market when you're quiet, then you're planting trees in a drought. The death spiral. You've probably lived this loop at some stage. Well, let me draw it for you. The phone goes quiet, you panic, so you take in whatever work comes in. Cheap work, the wrong work, someone else's leftovers. Margins drop and you're flat out and the jobs that barely pay, so there's no time to do the marketing, so the phone stays quiet. I watched many trade contractors go into this death spiral. They panic, take on work that doesn't quite fit them, not the stuff they're good at and they can make good margin at, and 6 months later they're still working. Saturdays, GPs shot, their best commercial clients have drifted off to someone who stayed in touch. The spiral isn't a demand problem, it's a timing problem. Market when you're busy and then you'll never get desperate. You'll never take on the bad work, so you have time to keep marketing. Spiral runs both ways. You get to choose a direction. Ads can feel like marketing because you can see the spend, but your commercial buyers aren't searching, they're asking around. Ad spend chasing commercial leads is mostly money out the door with nothing back. One good referral partner, a builder, facility manager, strata manager who trusts you, sends you easily $100,000 every year without quoting against 5 other Sparkies. Remember the muffins? $30 aimed at the right people, backed by follow-up, 500 grand and counting. I've built over $20 million of recurring revenue in electrical and plumbing doing exactly this. Stop measuring marketing by leads this week, measure it by relationships, and they'll pay you every year. Here's why most contractors still don't do this. They rely on remembering. And when you get busy, remembering is the first thing that goes. So a quick recap, you're in the relationship game. You market when you're busy, and the math says that one real relationship beats any ad budget. If the follow-up lives in the playbook, like a process, your office manager and AI can run about 80% of it. You only do the parts that need your face. That's how a box of muffins turns into 500 grams worth of work whilst I was flat out. The rest of this series, I'm going to build the systems that take you through step by step so you can build your marketing playbook, runs while you're busy and ensures that you don't run into that feast and famine cycle again. Here's your first move. Download the free Bulletproof Pipeline Workbook. Links in the description. Tonight, fill in one thing. The top 3 sources of your work. Roughly what each spent with you last year. It'll take about 10 minutes. You'll need it in the next couple of episodes. Most owners get a surprise when they actually look at this. If you're using Simpro, run the client rank report. It'll give you an easy summary of who your biggest clients were, what their margins were, what percentage of revenue they were. Next episode, before we build anything, we're going to check your engine though, because if you pour more work into a business that's not quite right, then you can go broke very quickly. So we're just going to go through the engine checks. This will be very handy to have in your back pocket as a skill at any time to review how your business is running. There's about 9 questions. It takes about 5 minutes and it'll tell you whether more work's going to actually make you richer or poorer, because it can actually drive you down faster.